And we're live asking the question, are you out of touch? If you're really out of touch with what's going on in the world, give me a ring. I'd love to speak to you. The number is in the description. Because Jacob Rees-Mogg is exactly that. He is so out of touch. He had no idea how offensive it would be to suggest in a BBC radio interview that had he been living in Grenfell Tower, he would have had the common sense, as he put it, to ignore the advice from the fire brigade and to leave the building. Now, if he has got common sense, how does he not realise that saying that on a national radio station is going to offend thousands, if not millions of people? How can he not realise that? How can he be so out of touch with human beings? Now, I've said it in the past, I think Jacob Rees-Mogg at times gets an unfair press. I think there is a bias against him. I've mentioned before that he's a Roman Catholic, and there has never been a Roman Catholic Prime Minister. 33X is saying, what did he say? He said that, welcome Mad Dunya, you're welcome in the chat. Jacob Rees-Mogg said that had he been in Grenfell Tower, he would have ignored the advice to stay put and he would have come out of the building. Layla is in the chat. Lessons for life, what's good, what's the chat? Yeah, I want to talk about Jacob Rees-Mogg saying that he would have escaped with his life from Grenfell Tower, even though the advice was to stay put. Stormzy has waded in on this one and has criticised Jacob Rees-Mogg. It is very difficult to forgive such a faux pas. And George Galloway at the weekend said that the election is too close to call. You can't rule out any number of gaffes that could take place in the build-up to the election. And I think this is one of them. And the danger here is for the likes of myself, being a Labour supporter, to kind of want to celebrate the fact that the other team has dropped the ball. It's Matt Dunya saying, who's Jacob? Jacob Rees-Mogg is a Conservative MP, and on a BBC radio interview, he said that the people in Grenfell Tower, what he said suggested that the people in Grenfell Tower, had they had common sense to leave the building, would have escaped with their lives. Now, how he doesn't have the common sense to know that that is a horrific thing to say, and he's already backtracking and saying that he didn't mean that, I don't know. But the sad thing is, partisan politics being what it is, you end up almost celebrating the own goal from the other team, and when really we should be coming together on an issue like this to say, look, that is not how we deal with such matters. And the blame has been shifted further and further and further down the line. We've gone from blaming the cladding, which is really at fault, the inflammable material that should never have been used in the building to begin with, all the way down to blaming the fire brigade, who are just trying to save people's lives, who do a job where they risk their life regularly, and then you want to blame them. And then further that, no, let's not blame the fire brigade, let's blame the people themselves who are dead. But it is a nasty game, partisan politics. And Mad Dunya saying, Mad, the Conservatives, they're only for the rich and not the poor. Well, that's my take on the Conservative Party, unless someone's given me a different one. Layla is saying, do you shape your eyebrows? They look good. Thanks, Layla. That's really, really getting into the topic. 33X is saying, I don't know why GG thinks that, but Labour has no chance unless they cancel their plans for a second referendum. And Camel Kellner is asking, are phone lines open? Yeah, phone lines are open. They should be. If you're trying to get through, keep hitting the redial. Sometimes we lack signal, but phone lines are open, and the number is in the description. +44 if you're calling from outside the UK. So 33X has mentioned GG. That's George Galloway. Big news for George Galloway. When I saw the headline at 10 o'clock, I got on the phone straight away. Tom Watson, the incumbent for West Brom, has pulled out of the race. He's out of politics. And George said it on Sunday. There's a latest George Galloway video is up, by the way, if you look at the recent uploads. He said, look, this election is too close to call. We can't take into account for any last-minute gaffes that could happen. There's been a gaffe from Jacob Rees-Mogg, and there has been a retirement from Tom Watson. Tom Watson, who was very critical of Jeremy Corbyn, who led some of the attempted coups against Jeremy Corbyn, and as much as George Galloway is standing as an independent in West Brom, his logic would be that the likes of Tom Watson, although a member of the Labour Party, do not stand for real Labour, and that George Galloway would be more Labour than he would be any day. But Tom Watson is out of the race. Big news as it unfolds. And Matt Dunya is saying, what do you think of BVM? Going off topic. You're going to have to enlighten me. What is BVM? And Matt Dunya is saying, big up George Galloway. Yes, we love George Galloway on this channel. And best of luck to him in the election. I wonder who will replace Tom Watson. I heard rumours of possibly Keith Vaz. It'll have to be a big name. It's a Labour safe seat, so they'll have to give it to a big name. Well, so-called safe seat. We're hoping it's not safe. But I don't know what this BVM is. What could that be? British Violent Men? I don't know. What does BVM stand for? And Pleb Enforcement is saying, shame you're live while my favourite stream is on. I'll have to watch later. That's okay. I wonder who your favourite is. Who's over on ITV competing for the time slot? I've tried to come on a little bit earlier. I think I've been on too late recently. And Mad Dunya saying, Black Van Man, new guy in the park. He says he's unbiased but is very submissive to the far right. I haven't seen Black Van Man. And the Pleb Enforcement is watching The Academic Agent. That's all right. There's something for everyone. When you do a live stream, it's always up later on. That's a good thing about it. It's up straight away and you can watch it later on. And Mad Dunya saying he's like an agent. That's my view. Yeah, you never know who is a stooge, who is an agent. I talk a lot about Irish politics, and for years, the IRA and other factions were riddled with spies, people that really you thought they would lay down their life for the cause, and then they turned out to be a secret or double agent. Jordan M is greeting me with peace. Salam. Salam to you, Jordan. And pleb enforcement is saying Epstein didn't. Yeah, well, we might as well talk about fake news. Someone shared with me some fake news today, actually. I received video footage of what was purporting to be footage of a young boy falling out of or climbing out of a window at Buckingham Palace. Now, in my view, this footage was obviously fake, obviously doctored footage, and the person who sent it to me, has got his head screwed on, usually, and he said, "Oh, look at this footage! Isn't that disgraceful?" And if you haven't seen it, you could probably Google it. It's from several years ago. 33X is saying, "Yeah, I heard it's true and not obviously fake." Okay, footage of a young boy falling out of the Houses of Parliament, and he's trying to climb down. It looks like a scene out of Jungle Book, and the I guess you could call them narrator, the person filming it, is sort of casually saying, "Oh, look at that! Can you believe it? Yeah, they've got a young boy, and he's being described as a Filipino boy, climbing out of the window and sort of climbing down a makeshift piece of obvious fake news, but it touches upon something that we do know is true. We do know the royals were friendly with the likes of Jimmy Savile. We do know they were close with Ted Heath. We do know that Andrew was making visits to Epstein's Island. So we already know that the likes of what is being alluded to go on. But then you see a very obviously faked video of something like that going on, and you wonder why. And you always have to ask yourself, who gains? And I'm very big on disinformation. There is a lot of disinformation that gets put out there. Don't get me wrong. I'm a conspiracy theorist. I've got my tinfoil hat on. But I'm very aware that there are stories that are disseminated in order to make us look bad. Long-time contributor to the show and the channel, Mac, phoned up the other night, and I was devastated to hear him confess. He let slip that he's almost a flat earther, or if not a flat earther, he questions the spherical Earth. Is it the heliocentric model? You have to ask yourself, who gains? No one gains anything by pretending that the flat Earth we apparently live on is round. No one would. That's not a big secret. That's not to make you think that God doesn't exist. That is just a scientific fact that civilizations have all come to the conclusion at separate points in history, because that's what they've concluded. Okay, the default position was that the Earth is flat because that's what it looks like, because it's such a big sphere. It looks like it's flat. If we were really on a flat Earth with a dome above it. I don't want to get bogged down in flat Earth theory. You would be able to prove that. It's difficult to prove we live on a sphere because of the nature of the sphere. And that's why some people love the flat Earth theory. But just as the flat Earth theory makes other skeptics look like lunatics, people that question aspects of the royal family, people who are skeptical of Prince Andrew, people who want to know the truth about Jimmy Savile's connection with Prince Charles, people like that will be dismissed as nutjob lunatics if people keep sharing videos of doctored footage of an individual being described as a Filipino boy climbing out the window at Buckingham Palace. Oh, I can't believe it. It's like Pizzagate, the Pizzagate story in Hollywood, when paedophiles were apparently ordering children in some kind of code language when they would order a pizza. And if you got a vegetarian 12-inch, that really meant that you wanted a young boy. This story was proven to be false, and it's fake news. And when fake news like that goes under the radar and is accepted, it lends credence to people like Donald Trump, who then want to scream fake news when there's stories about him. It's like the boy who cried wolf and that other fable, the sky is falling, the sky is falling. And Mad Dunya saying flat Earth is fake news created by the Satanists to keep civilians diverted and busy from the truth of New World Order. There you go, Mad Dunya. I would agree with you on that one. 33X is saying moon landings were fake too. And Amlasam is saying Jimmy Savile's innocent. He once showed me how to milk a cow blindfolded. Getting the jokes in early tonight. Excellent. Thank you for that. Jimmy Savile. Can't believe I used to watch his show. So yeah, there's lots of fake news running around. And in the midst of that, they will bury the real news. And one of the real stories, we talked about Epstein's Island, Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. Now, this is funny because when something is all of a sudden everywhere, you have to question where it came from. But all of a sudden, in lots of places, people are mentioning that Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. And I think this is one of the times when the truth is so glaringly obvious, it is just impossible to hide it. A man taken off suicide watch who had already attempted to commit suicide once, apparently, who had already complained that he had been attacked, commits suicide, and the cameras are turned off, and the other cellmates are removed from the cell, and he was taken off suicide watch. 33X is saying your phone lines are closed. It seems. Try again, 33X. Try again, and if in doubt, try a WhatsApp call. A WhatsApp call might be more successful. And it's me, so it is saying Kincora Boys Home. You're going to have to expand on that one, Kincora. What happened in the Kincora Boys Home? Although if we're on the same topic, it sounds ominous. There have been many abusive cases in children's homes. People that take advantage of the most innocent and vulnerable victims. and it's disgraceful, and we must call it out wherever we see it, whether it's in the Catholic Church, whether it's in the Football Association in England, or whether it's in the royal family. And as I suspected, it's me, so it is elaborating. Pedo ring, Northern Ireland, MI5. And Camille Kellner is saying, so you are saying there are no child pedo rings anywhere? No, I'm saying there are many. But if stories like Pizzagate make the headlines, are accepted, and are then debunked, that only serves to help the next paedophile that wants to organise a paedophile ring, and then when the accusation comes in, they can say, oh, look, fake news, I've been framed. And it does happen in many places, and some people will have a very one-track mind, and they will only focus on one particular type of paedophilia. For example, Stephen Yaxley Lennon, aka Tommy Robinson, he's such a big critic of paedophilia, but he only looks for it in one place. But we've got a call. Who is this? Hello, caller. Welcome. Are you there? Yeah. Yeah, you're through. You're through. You're live on air. You're through. Well, what's your take on the topic?
Oh, I heard you mention Peter Boy. I've seen the video and I'll take that back. But you having no sympathy with a young Filipino boy falling to his death. In the beginning of the program, you said how James Reed's book was diminishing Grenfell Tower.
Yeah.
And insulting that you're doing the same thing.
Hang on, are you comparing Grenfell Tower to a fake video of a so-called Filipino boy? Hello? It's not a great line, caller. Can you call me? Try again. Not on WhatsApp. Call me on the normal phone number if you can. Give it another try.
Okay.
Because we're not getting great internet. This is somebody who's questioning my take on the footage of the Filipino boy. It infuriates me when people are dumb enough to fall for it. And Trump in the building is saying, the system in the United Kingdom is messed up. The English people are living in poverty. The younger generation have been brought up with no morals. How do you fix it? You build a wall. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to build a wall. How do you fix it? The younger generation have been brought up with no morals. Have they? Everything comes in pendulum swings. Okay, I've said this before on this show, and let me mentally rehearse it. Strong men create good times. Good times create weak men create hard times. And we are in those hard times at the moment because we've been made weak by the great men and women that struggled through the world wars, that struggled to get the vote, and then struggled to get the vote for women, and then struggled to get the vote for Catholics in the north of Ireland, and struggled to get the vote for blacks in South Africa. We have struggled and struggled and struggled, and some of us have forgotten what it is like to struggle. So now we complain about other things, and we've become, that's right, a snowflake generation. So maybe we need some hard times to make us well, Jordan M saying the phone lines don't work. Jordan M, that's great that you tried to phone. Yeah, what? Oh man, I wonder why the phone lines are not working. WhatsApp is working badly. apparently, and the real phone lines are not working. Well, I'll restart the phone and we'll see if that works. But if not, don't worry, we'll be back. They're obviously trying to shut me up. I'm obviously speaking too much truth. And Andrew, or one of the royals, has had a word and said, get the show taken off the air. Lussom is saying, I'm struggling with my download speed. Yeah, that's a struggle these days. That's a real struggle. Will I be able to get on the internet? I was recently... Yeah, Jordan M. Jordan M wants to shut down my freedom of speech. Look, I've restarted the phone. Try, if anyone is out there, try one more time to call me. Don't even have to say anything. I just want to see if my phone is working. And it's all in the name of freedom of speech. Yeah, I recently was on a school trip with some young people, as I do, and we announced to the kids that, well, got a school trip on Friday. We're all going to the Natural History Museum, one of London's best museums. And someone's trying to call me on here. No. Don't call me on my number. You have to call. Someone's just tried to call me on my own number. You have to call me on the normal phone line, which I think is not working. Try WhatsApp. If you want to call me, WhatsApp, apparently that is working. Otherwise, the phone lines are not working. Here we go. We've got a caller. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Hello, welcome. Sorry, the phone lines are only working on WhatsApp, apparently, but you're through via WhatsApp. Hello? Right. Well, do you know what? Yeah, we're not doing very well. The internet is letting us down. Yeah, I've finally been shadow banned. I've gone. Let's see what Slum is saying. Julian, what do you think of millennial influencers saying World War II history shouldn't be taught because it's damaging their nerves? Yeah, well, what this country needs is a jolly good war. Hello, caller. Have we got in touch with you? Hello.
Yes, hello.
Yeah. You're live.
Hello.
You're through. Yeah, welcome to the Airways. Say what you got to say.
Sorry, it seemed you had some sort of phone line issue. With
I know the Illuminati are trying to ban me, but WhatsApp is working, so go for it.
Okay, I'm glad to hear that. I just wanted to mention a bit of politics. Somebody said on your live stream that George Galloway is standing and so on, and I was I'm in shock that Jeremy Corbyn thinks he can win if he wants, which he still is demanding, that if he does become Prime Minister, Labour is going to have a second referendum. It makes no sense. We voted to leave. If people don't like democracy, then that's what they do. Once we voted, that's it. Irrespective of what was said or wasn't said, we voted to leave, and now we should leave. And if he thinks that he can have a separate referendum and still win, I don't know who he's hanging out with, because that is fake news right there.
Why do you think Jeremy Corbyn changed his tune from being a lifelong critic of the EU to saying, if I get in, we'll have a second vote?
I assume he knows the effect that's going to be palpable very soon, immediately. I'm sure we're going to be in a recession and so on. So he's probably looked into it more so, but that's irrespective. We have voted to leave, and we have to leave. And if he thinks for 1 second that he's going to get in, there's just no chance. You cannot do that. Now, you may say, and I know he is saying that all the facts were not on the table, statements were made that were untrue. But that's with every election. When Obama came in back in 2008, he said that he's going to close Guantanamo Bay in 100 days, and Guantanamo Bay is still open with people in that horrific condition of whatever prison or whatever place that is in Cuba somewhere.
Yeah, in someone else's country.
They haven't had a trial. Yeah, they haven't had a trial. It's been what since it's been 11 years and still not closed. So if we could all go now, should we say no? We want Obama to go back and he should have been president. It's just once you vote, that's it.
Okay, I mean it's a great point. Who will you be voting for? Will you be voting?
I think I'll be voting for Nigel Farage because I'm a Brexiteer and I think that he's the man that's going to.
But Nigel Farage, well, you can vote UKIP, but Nigel Farage is not standing for election.
Yeah, I'm going to vote for his party, and if his party gets more seats, then he'll become the Prime Minister. I'm sure of it, but my main focus is Brexit.
That's a good question. I wonder, does the Prime Minister have to be an MP? Because he's leader of the party, but he's not standing for election. So could he be the Prime Minister?
Well, anyone in that party, they can choose it. They could have the local, the corner shop man become the Prime Minister. If the party votes for that person to become that, the Prime Minister, they can do so. So I think he's given, if I can use an American phrase, I think he's just thrown a curveball at everyone.
Yes.
And, but I strongly recommend, I know you're friends with George Galloway and even Jeremy Corbyn. I know you have contacts with them. I think if Jeremy wants to win, he needs to rescind from that statement about having a second referendum. And on Scotland, it's just wrong. The Scots have had a referendum. We've had ours here, and that's it. There's nothing that could be done, and there's nothing that should be done regarding it apart from bringing it out in the open as voted for by the people. That's democracy right there.
It's a great call. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Robert.
Nice one. Yeah. All right. The phone lines are open, but apparently only via WhatsApp. Don't know what's happened to my phone line. Jordan M is saying, Nigel Farage, isn't it funny? Isn't it funny? Doesn't want to be Prime Minister. His job is done. And Ashley Khan is saying, but the corner shop man has to be elected Member of Parliament before he can be elected for PM. Yeah, I think you have to be a Member of Parliament to be the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister has to have a constituency, so you couldn't be the leader of the party but not be the PM. So Boris Johnson has to defend his constituency. I can't remember what is he Uxbridge? Bojo, I think so. Yeah, so it's going to be an interesting one, and the fact that Tom Watson has stepped down has blown West Brom wide open. I'll be catching up with George Galloway on Sunday and asking him what exactly this means. If only Jeremy Corbyn had welcomed George Galloway back into the party. George Galloway was expelled from the Labour Party in 2003 because of his stance on the illegal Iraq war, a stance that was shared by Jeremy Corbyn at the time. It would have been nice if Jeremy Corbyn had invited George Galloway back into the party, because George Galloway and Jeremy Corbyn were part of this old left, real Labour Party element that would have shared a platform with Tony Benn and people of that ilk. Ash Khan is saying Boris Johnson has to cover his corner. Everybody cover your corners before the corner shop guy gets in there. Yeah, there'll be a corner shop on every corner. Dying breeds corner shops in independent franchises. Trump in the building is saying, gonna watch Hamza and Jordan's discussion regarding Brexit. that would be interesting. Was it a debate? Are they on differing sides of the fence? 33X is saying Geezer on the phone was kind of right. Any MP can resign and allow the corner shop man to take position and become PM, but that would cause a by-election when a local MP resigns or dies. There is a by-election, so but outside of a general election, there can be a local election, and you can become a member of parliament that way. And Trump is in the building and saying Trump has left the building. Off he goes. Yeah, all this, and then we're going to do it all again this time next year for Donald Trump. And I wonder who will be up against him. I'm hoping for Tulsi Gabbard in America. That's the top Democratic candidate this time round. But yeah, we'll have a chat with George Galloway on Sunday. I'm going to try and attend some of his hustings. It would be great even to perhaps be there on election night when the count is coming in. And Ashi Khan is saying vote at the corner shop poll ballot boxes should be put in. Yeah, it's a shame we don't have more corner shops. All these little independently known businesses are all being replaced by conglomerates and the big names, and it'll be an Aldi or a Lidl or whatever it might be, but independent, family-run businesses are dying out, and I think that's sad. That's something that I noticed last time I was in Ireland. My brother and I were looking for an old shop in a town that we used to go to, and I said, just have a look around, look at all the shop fronts. They're all emblazoned proudly with a family name over the top of it, and that's something that we're losing here in England and other parts of the developed world. But that is the process of globalization. Lassam is saying, Julian, you should have a green screen with a more exciting backdrop. The white background is affecting my anxiety. Do you know what? It's me, so it is. I'll tell you exactly, because you may know. And this is going to go way off the radar for anyone that doesn't know Irish geography. We were in Macrofelt and we were looking for Agnew's ice cream. There you go. Now you're going to tell me, do you know so-and-so that lives up the road? Yeah, I do have a green screen, Amlassam, but I don't know how to use it while live streaming. Dingo Jiu-Jitsu is saying, if I do call, can we talk for a minute? Dingo Jiu-Jitsu, if you get through, we can talk for as long as you want, but you might have to use WhatsApp. We're having trouble with the normal phone line. So if you want to get involved, I think Dingo Jiu-Jitsu is in Australia. Well, it could be. I don't know why I think that, but no. Okay, yeah, again, I'm going to have to say it clearly. If you want to call via WhatsApp, you need to use the phone number that is in the title, not my regular phone number. Got people trying to call me on WhatsApp here. That is not what we want to do. You need to call me on the number that's in the title. Save it, find me on WhatsApp and call me. Do not try and call me on my own number, as that's what we're using to live stream. Yeah, do I really need a different backdrop? Here we go. We're getting a call. Hello, caller.
Hello, my friend. This is the Turk.
Hello, Joe. Thank you for calling me on WhatsApp. I don't know what's going on with the phone lines tonight.
I have been trying to call you over 50 times, and I finally got through.
Thank you, the Great White Hope.
don't. Are you calling me the Great White Hope, or are you thanking him for getting your call through?
I'm thanking you,
Yeah.
and I'm thanking him.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Well, you're through.
So we have Pizzagate. Pizzagate is a
fake news
story. They just covered it up to make it seem like fake news, just like many of the Alex Jones theories.
Alex Jones.
Info.com.
They're turning the frogs gay. Come on,
Yes,
Alex
exactly.
Jones is fake news. He's alternative light.
He's real.
No, he's fake news. Well, they did away with him.
But some of the stuff he is real, like the old stuff. But
the old stuff. Look at the direction he went in. Look who he never criticizes.
Yeah, true. Well, what's the next issue? What's the next topic?
Well, look, I think you bring up some interesting issues. Alex Jones, I'm saying that he is not the real deal because he never criticizes Israel. He never criticizes certain neocons, but he was done away with because he's not a liberal, I guess. So the media, it would seem that
he definitely became his image than the guy he was before.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you're that popular.
Yeah, and I always bring up his little English friend Tom Watson. If you look at what Tom Watson was saying 8 years ago, he was being very critical of what was happening in Gaza, and he was calling it out. And then he went silent on the issue. So there's always people pulling the strings in the background. They've either threatened somebody or they've bribed somebody. I mean, what do you think happened to Donald Trump? Why has he not done some of the things he said he would? Why has he started to behave differently, especially in terms of interventionism? And he did drop bombs in Syria, something he didn't need to do, something he promised he wouldn't do. Why did he change direction? Who grabbed him by the balls?
The secret leaders did, but they do that to everybody, including Barack Obama, the fallen messiah.
Yeah.
But the when I was listening to your podcast, it was really funny. That first guy, it reminded me when I was growing up in the mountains of Achibaba. My first phone call, my first cell phone that I had.
Yeah.
That was incredible.
What was it?
It was like the guy of speaking of the radio.
Okay.
The first call you had.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like mountains of Achibaba. That's where I am from. I was raised in Achibaba in the mountains.
Achibaba? Oh, is that where you're from?
Village.
Wow.
Yes.
But for a minute, I thought you said
a secret of the Turk where I am from, Achibaba.
Achibaba. This is the third. The Turk doesn't reveal much about himself, by the way. This is a character who occasionally appears on the show with his face covered. No one really knows who he is, but tonight he's revealed where he grew up.
Yes, I need to stay secret because I have many top secrets, like Snowden.
Yes, like Edward Snowden. We are all with him.
There's an interview with Snowden and Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
On his Joe Rogan podcast. I've seen it. It's very powerful.
That's right. Joe Rogan has a show as well. He does a similar show to this, actually. I think that's where he got the idea.
Hopefully, one day you could get on it.
Yeah, I hope so. One day we'll link up with Joe Rogan.
Yes.
Thank you very much for
DMT.
Yeah, we'll take it together. Thanks for calling as always. I appreciate it. Sorry, the other line's not working.
You're welcome.
Take care,
Anytime.
my friend. Superb. Thank you. Yeah, that's the Turk, one of our mysterious characters. Dingo Jiu-Jitsu. If you want to give it a try, it would be a WhatsApp call, so it would be free of charge. I don't know what's happening to the other phone line tonight. Lassam is saying, Julian, have you tried DMT, which is the technical name for ayahuasca, this hallucinogen found naturally occurring in Peru and the rest of South America, where it is taken as a kind of spiritual experience. No, I haven't taken ayahuasca. I was in in Amsterdam recently, and there were a lot of drugs on offer, but ayahuasca was not, or DMT was not one of them. Of all the drugs that I might take, that would be the tempting one, because you hear so much good about it. I know Joe Rogan took it, apparently. David Icke swears by it, although having taken it 20 years ago or so, he doesn't feel the need to take it again. And unless someone's saying Mike Tyson, does he take DMT? Apparently, he's producing a lot of weed at the moment. Ashik Khan is saying all these involved in the injustices done to the Palestinians should be held up for war crimes. And Ash Khan is saying Ike got spiked. Is that who got spiked? Someone spiked your drink? No, I've not done DMT. I would be curious about it, but I'm not desperate to. And I think if you want to open your mind, surely, just as you can achieve good results in the gym without resorting to steroids, can't we expand our mind without resorting to chemical substances? Because that's all it is at the end of the day. It's a chemical substance. It's DMT. And people will tell you, oh, you got to take it from a shaman, it's got to be done in the woods, and it's got to be completely pitch black, and all these other factors that really are just going to be psychosomatic and emphasize the placebo effect. Like Rastafarians smoke marijuana, and for them it is a spiritual effect. Other people smoke it just for fun, and they have an effect. It's how you interpret the effect. I mean, anything. If we are spiritual beings, anything can be a spiritual experience. It's how you interpret it. And I was pushing the DMT argument at one point and saying, "Oh, this is a great idea, and it's going to help you connect spiritually." And a friend of mine just sort of dismissed it and said, "Oh, what? Come on, do you believe in that nonsense? You believe that taking a drug is going to open your mind spiritually?" But this friend is a Muslim, so presumably they believe that pouring water on your hands and feet and head opens your soul or purifies you spirit. I'm talking about performing wudu. These ablutions do what? It's just pouring water, but it's something special for you, and it's not the water that makes it special. It's the fact that you believe that it is special. And Muslims will tell you whether you believe or not, or whether you put the water on or not. What actually matters is the belief and the intention, which is clear even in the teachings, because if there is no water available, you can use dust. So it's not about the water, it's not about the dust, it is about going to that place in your mind. And maybe DMT helps to take people to that place in their mind. I think it probably has a stronger effect than pouring water on your arms and hands, but if it works for you, then it works. But all religions have always dabbled in drugs and mind-altering substances. And I was talking about William Shakespeare the other day. I've brought him up again. Apparently he smoked a lot of weed. Maybe that's how he opened his mind and wrote all those brilliant stories that we have to learn about in school. If you want to get through, by all means, try the number one more time. I'm very annoyed that it is not working unless we use WhatsApp. But feel free to to give me a call. If not, we'll probably wrap things up. I'm glad we got some good interaction. As usual, we've gone round the houses. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that needs to be said about Jacob Rees-Mogg, really, as he was the inspiration behind this live stream. I do feel bad for leaping on a story and using it as a political football. I'm sure he didn't mean to offend people, but by being that out of touch, look, these politicians, they are a different breed. You can't expect them to exist in the same world, and that's why I think the Labour Party is at least closer to being representative of the demographic mix of the United Kingdom. I think it's is it the Lib Dems who are fielding 50% men and women. LA111 is saying maybe you gave the wrong number. Yeah, maybe. I hope not. Maybe I did. I'll rectify it for next time. We'll look into it. 33X is saying the upper class are a different breed. Yeah, are they? I wonder, are they literally? Does years and years of inbreeding make you genetically different? A friend of mine once said, do you think rich people are better looking because over the years people will choose to marry richer and better looking people? Don't know. I mean, you can be, what would you rather be? Rich or good looking? What's more appealing in a partner? Rich or good looking? I mean, some of the rich are very ugly, but it's all a bit of a subjective matter. I'm sorry if I gave the wrong number out tonight. There's nothing I can do about that now, but we'll rectify it for next time. And thank you to those that got in touch, the regulars like the Turk, who revealed for the first time where he lives. Ashley kind of saying neither. Is that about how a person is? Yeah, that's always a very that's the right answer, isn't it? It's about personality. But what is personality? There are so many aspects of personality. 33X is saying if the Grenfell Tower victims were rich people, he would be sympathetic, perhaps. Yeah, it is crazy that in the London borough of Kensington and Chelsea, the richest borough in the country, that you've got the rich and the poor living and dying next to each other, and the poor are dying because they are poor. Muslim is saying Jesus said a rich man's chances of entering heaven is like a camel walking through the eye of a needle. Strong statement, whether you're a believer or not. Yes. And Ashi Khan is saying some people are so poor, all they have is money. Good old cliche, but it's always true. We love a cliche on this show. And yeah, interesting about the eye of a needle. I remember standing at the doorway of the Church of the Nativity in Bethlehem in occupied Palestine, getting the guided tour by a local, and there was a huge, a massive door that was shut, and then there was a little doorway, and it was quite short and just shorter than perhaps the height of the average man. And this tour guide was saying that the passage in the Bible talking about the eye of the needle, that the eye of the needle actually referred to, I think, this doorway or that the doorway was based on it, or whatever. It was small and narrow, but not impossible to get through. And this is one of those statements that gets taken out of context or gets lost in translation when we hear, "Oh, it's like trying to get a camel walking through the eye of the needle." We think of, well, that means it's impossible. But maybe eye of the needle was like a phrase or an idiom. And Ashi kind of saying, eye of a needle may let the whole ocean and jungle through. It's all in the mind. Yes, we must open our mind and be like water, my friend, as Bruce Lee said. I want to do a whole show on Bruce Lee at some point. I think we need to talk about him. He's a great mind. Another great mind that died young. And I always wonder, would these people that we remember so fondly and so strongly, would they have been such legends if they hadn't gone before their time, so to speak, likes of Elvis, the likes of John Lennon? Amlasam is saying, great idea. This has been fun. I will tune in more often. Brilliant, Amlasam. Where are you tuning in from, by the way? I'm interested to know where we get our audience from, if you're UK based or you're abroad. But yeah, show on Bruce Lee coming up, and maybe a few other people from history. But I think Bruce Lee deserves a standalone show. I know we've got martial arts fans in here. Dingo Jiu-Jitsu's in there somewhere. He's tuning in from Australia. And do please share the channel, share these streams when they go up or even after they go up. I really want to build a following that is international, so we can share our different perspectives from different parts of the world, whether it's Ireland, Australia. I know we've got a lot of viewers in Pakistan. That's what really kicked this channel off originally, was the Pakistan vlogs that I did just over a year ago when Imran Khan was winning his election. And Ashi Khan is saying, history is bad. We've had many wars. Yeah, I know. And the snowflake generation don't want us to learn about the Second World War anymore because it's just too traumatic for us. But someone said to me recently that, wars are necessary, and it's actually in times of war that technology makes great leaps and advances forward, because you've got that edge and that drive to beat the other side. So a lot of the great inventions, although they might have been invented for killing people, have come from times of war. So we do need to live. We do need that reason. Amlasim is saying, I'm from Greece, just outside Athens, but I lived in the UK for 20 years. Okay, well, kalispera. And it's almost time to say kalinichta. We're multilingual on this show. Actually kind of saying, like, Cold Wars. Yeah, we've had the Cold War. We've had the World War. We've had many wars. And 33X is pointing out rather negatively, we'll have many more in future. Yes, we will. But the most important war is the war inside oneself, the greater jihad. It's me. So it's saying infinity war. Yeah, infinite war. It feels like that sometimes, but we must strive for peace. Yeah, and actually can't say, what about all the silent wars that are happening in people's mind? Yeah, and if your mind is at war at the moment, if you have some conflicting issues that are causing you turmoil, just let it go and just live in the moment for just a short time. Try and find that inner peace, and hopefully we can help you achieve that on this show. A problem shared is a problem halved. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me on tonight's live stream. We'll try and do them regularly around this time. I think 10:30 is a good time for a live stream. We'll do it all again soon. This has been Lessons for Life. We were here. We're gone. Laters.